Shut up.
What is happening, friends of CCP Podcasting? Welcome back to Beyond the Bell Live. I am Chris Page, and it is a Wednesday. It's hump day. Halfway there. Just a couple more days to get to the weekend, and I know there's going to be some fantastic independent wrestling going on all over the world this weekend. Just a shame that I can't be there to watch every bit of it. Hope you guys are doing well. Listen, before we get into our conversation today, let's touch bases, man. We had a big weekend in Orlando, Florida over the course of last weekend, in which a new CCP Podcasting Heavyweight Champion has emerged, and it is in the form of the National Wrestling Alliance's big, strong Mims. Came, saw, conquered at Chapter 5, and a great four-way over Javi Baja, JDX, and Samael Falsey. Mims is standing at the top of the food chain with us, guys, and conversations are already being had. There have been people reaching out saying, how do we get him out here? And I'm going to tell you how you get him out there, especially if you want to get him with where you're at with our championship on the line. I got to do is DM me. We're in the process of definitely looking in and locking in some dates to get out and visit some of our affiliates and make a lot more. That's just a little between me and you skis, guys. Don't tell nobody. It was a fun show. We're currently on the backside. We're producing it. We're putting it together. I'm hoping to have it out by next week. Fingers crossed. But at the end of the day, not only did we have Mims in the house, we had a fantastic tag team match with Better Together taking on the Miami Boys. We had a 16-person Royal Rumble, Victory Rumble, if you will, that was on tap. That fun fact, your boy got in the ring for the first time in 2 decades to handle a little bit of business. So you're going to want to check that out when we get that on the backside and get that out and ready for you guys to take a peek at. It was a fun time. Keep your ears and eyes open for Chapter 6 announcements. I'm looking to make some probably in the next 2 weeks on when we're going to be back with our next live event. It's going to be a fun time. No doubt. There's no questions asked. Anytime we are in the building, we are here to have a good time. And that's why we're here today too. Our guest coming in to Beyond the Bell Live. Listen, when I dive into independent wrestling, I love looking at all aspects of it, and I love looking at other companies, obviously, not only here in the States, all over the world. Today, our guest comes to us, and I'm going to play the ignorant card. I'm not sure where his home base is. I know where he came across my screen, and that was through Heart and Soul Pro. They just had their first show earlier this year. It was fantastic out in San Diego at the Primal Compound. Mustafa Ali was on the card against Dave Dutra in the main event. Fantastic wrestling throughout the entire show. It is available at Heart and Soul Pro over on YouTube. And our guest today, brother, was on it. And not only was he on it, pulled a big dub that I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about here, but we're going to talk a lot about him in general. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Beyond the Bell Live, my man, TJ Black. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing well. How you doing?
Man, I'm busy. I stay busy. It never stops for me as the days progress. How are you, bro?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Good to finally talk to you. Good to finally see you.
I
get
know.
A video call in finally.
We've been
tagging going back and forth in DMs.
Yeah, DMs just seem to be where it's at nowadays, brother. I don't know whatever happened to the phone. That's where. But I'm just old. That's all that is. I remember back in the day, prior to cell phones. I remember the first cell phone that came out. It had fucking Snake on it as a game, and that was all you got. Yeah, it was wild. It's wild times. I'm excited to have you in, man. Like I said, I enjoy independent wrestling, as anybody that follows our platforms well aware. And what I dig more about it than anything else is because I never know what I'm going to see. I don't know if when I put on a show, it's going to be filled with a lot of first-time watches. I turned on Heart and Soul Pro, obviously, and you were on the card, and you were a first-time watch for me. You had a great match on it. Obviously, through our conversations, I find out a little bit more information. I find out a little bit more about you, and I'm like, bro, you want to come and talk? You said yes. I said, let's go. So reality is this: when I start our conversations off, man, I like to start at the top, and that's not necessarily when do you lace a pair of boots or what even leads you to it. I like to start with fandom. I like to know what brings people in. What drew you into professional wrestling to begin with?
So my parents, my dad and my mom, she was a little bit of a fan. It was more so my dad and my grandma who were bigger fans. My grandma, she liked The Rock, and she loved The Rock. My dad, he was a fan. He liked Goldberg, Sting, so he was more of a WCW fan.
Yeah.
But he watched WWF as well. But yeah, I remember when I started watching it, we had a bunch of VHS tapes of WCW pay-per-views. So I started watching those, and I would just put them on like repeat, just back to back, just like it finished, started over. I'd watch it again, and then I'd know every commentator's line. I know every move that was happening. And then on Mondays, we'd be watching Raw. Fridays, we'd be watching SmackDown. And I just remember being a little kid and just not even on the couch. Like I was just so close to the TV, just on the floor watching wrestling. And then when it would go to commercial, I'd grab my little stuffed animal. I'd be practicing all the moves I saw on TV. I ripped up a bunch of stuffed animals. They probably got tired of buying them for me. Like I had legs ripped off, stuffing coming out. Yeah,
You're
like jumping
preaching
off
to
the couch and everything.
you're preaching to the choir right now. So, first thing, I love the fact that your grandmother's a piece that what drew you in, because with me it was the same thing. My grandmother, I walked in on her, and this is mid to late '80s. I had to have been 5, and she's 80 something years old, 86, swinging her cane at the TV because Flair was beating up on Dusty Rhodes. And I walked in.
Crazy how much they're into it, like as well.
I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember at the time who was in the ring. Of course, after the fact, years later, my mom would remind me, my dad would remind me. But what resonated with me was seeing an 86-year-old lady swinging her cane at the television. That was what resonated. I was like, I want to watch this, because if you're getting a reaction out of my grandmother, like this is something's different, and just the whole kit and caboodle. And then the second piece of that is, at like 6 years old, I was dropping elbows off the couch onto pillows and onto different things. So I know all about that, and getting screamed and yelled at by my mother. It's like, don't do that. What are you doing? I'm dropping an elbow. Man. What does it look like I'm doing?
Man, I took it to the extreme too. I'd get 4 chairs. I'd get a rope. I'd make my own little ring. Have matches. We do everything, bro. And then when I had gotten into school, I'd obviously meet friends that like to do wrestling or that like wrestling, and then I'd go over to their house and we'd have like wrestling matches in the living room. And like, man, I had a friend, man. His parents were so cool that they allowed us to make a YouTube, make a ring in the living room, and like record and like do matches and stuff. But like me thinking about it now, like me as a parent now with kids, I'm like, I don't think I would ever allow kids to come into my house, mess up my living room,
I mean,
but yeah, that was so cool.
It's the thing, though, right? Like I go back to when I would wrestle with my neighborhood kids. Like we didn't have ropes or anything, but we'd always get in between 4 trees and pretend that there were ropes and shoot off the trees and shoot off the ropes and just be stupid kids with it. But it's those moments that draw you in, that really shape you for it. Because again, I say this before I make that statement, is like, sometimes wrestling falls out. You fall out of love with it. Even as a kid, you're only into it for a couple of years, and then people move on and don't look back. But for me, it was one of those things. Once I fell into it, it was tough to get out of it. And as a kid anyway, and the fandom aspect of it. Real quick before I go further, I want to go over to chat real quick. You got Goth from the Netherlands welcoming you to CCP. And Chase Mansfield, shout out to Chase, man. This guy is a fucking godsend on the SoCal scene behind a microphone.
Shout out to Chase.
He says, TJ, this man killed it at the first Heart and Soul. And yes, he did. We're going to get there, Chase.
Thank you.
So, obviously you didn't fall out of love with it. You continued to dive deeper into it. At what point do you look into, or does it cross your mind, really, that, you know what? Maybe I want to do this. Maybe I really want to try this and see what that looks like. Where were you in life when that happened?
So it was about maybe 8 years ago. I was an athlete. I played all the way through college. I played baseball. I never thought wrestling was something that we could do, because I only knew about the WWE, New Japan.
Sure.
Like those places. I didn't know that there was like training schools and like places like so close to me that I can go to. So once I was playing, once I got finished playing baseball, I was like, okay, what do I want to do now? Like, I only know how to be an athlete. I don't
Mm-hmm.
really like, you know, anything else. I want to stick to being an athlete. And I was like, man, maybe I could become a wrestler. But I was like, and in my head, I'm like, okay, like WWE, like what do I have to do to get there? Like what? And then it was like, so I looked it up online. And it was like, okay, training schools. And I was like, oh wow, there's training schools. So I like looked up training schools near me, and then there was one like 30 minutes away. I was like, oh, perfect. And that was 2018. So I was like, boom. And then so I was like, I got my gear before I even signed up to a school. I went online, I found some gear. I was like, man, and I had like kick pads, knee pads, a belt, pants. I had everything ready. I because I didn't know. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm getting all my stuff ahead of time. I studied it. I watched like a bunch of training schools, a bunch of tryouts, a bunch of like everything before I started, and that really helped like prepare me for when I did actually start. Um, but that was 2018. I had everything. I bought everything. I bought my gear. I bought everything. And then my grandmother, she ended up having a stroke
Mm.
in 2018. So that put a quick pause on
Sure.
everything. And then, yeah, that kind of like delayed my dream. I ended up taking care of her. And yeah, because she was pretty much bedridden.
Mm-hmm.
Not like dying, but she was bedridden. She had no use of her legs or anything. So I had to take care of her and everything that she needed. So from 2018 to 2020, I was doing that, and then I ended up having my girlfriend at the time. She ended up getting pregnant, and then I talked to her, and I was like, okay, once uh, we have our son, I want to start wrestling. And then she was like, yeah, go for it. She was always just so supportive. Um, yeah, and then I ended up looking up a school. It was like it was 30 minutes away, and then as soon as she had my son, I think it was like 2 weeks. And then I ended up calling the school. I thought it'd be like a much longer process, but I ended up calling the school. He's like, "Yeah, show up Monday." I was like, "Oh, okay, all right."
I, I
I showed up, and luckily I showed up with a great class as well. It was like perfect time. There was like 6 new students, so it wasn't just me. Because like a lot of times, new students show up and it's just one guy, and he has to fit in with people who've been training for a year, 6 months, 2 years, wrestling for 6 years. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
So, but I grew up, or I came in with a class. It was like six new students, so we're all kind of like on the same level. Then, and of course, there was people like above us who have been wrestling for many years before us. But yeah, like majority of the class, it was like a lot of new talent.
Where was the school that you signed up and finally got started at? If you don't mind me asking that.
So yeah, I started training at East Bay Pro Wrestling in Pacheco.
Okay. See, that's a new name for me. And you know me,
Yeah,
brother.
East Bay.
When I hear new names and I hear new companies, I'm like,
Yeah,
YouTube, we're
yeah,
coming to you next. Because
yeah,
I like to learn, man. I like to know what's what and what is where.
yeah,
Because like I said, there's hidden gems everywhere across the
yeah,
fucking world, and we have been fortunate enough to not necessarily to discover, because I don't ever say we discover anybody. I say you guys find us, because
yeah,
it's all, you never know. It's a smorgasbord on YouTube. I just click on
yeah,
something and I say okay, and then I find the positives, right? Like, oh shit, this guy really impressed me. Oh my god, I liked how this guy sold. Or you see that character work, how this guy worked the crowd, he worked the market, like, and then I start doing
yeah,
my thing, which is like, let's dig deeper, let's follow, let's find out more about them and what they're doing and how they're
yeah,
going about it. So it's it's all great when I find out new places and where people cut their teeth at, because again, I just
yeah,
dive deeper into it. So let me ask you this. This is one of my
yeah.
favorite questions that I like to ask people, because everybody's answer is different. Strengths
Uh-huh.
and weaknesses, man. What were some of the strengths that you had that you maybe surprised you, but on the backside of it, when reality set in that this ain't fucking ballet, what were some of the weaknesses that you had to overcome and deal with?
Yeah. A strength. I mean, like I said, I did a lot of research before I went in, so I knew the conditioning aspect I had to be in. I knew kind of what to expect, what people's reactions to taking a bump, people's reaction to hitting the ropes, and I made it bigger in my head than what it actually is.
Yep.
So when I did it, I took my first bump, and I was like, I can do this. I can do this. And then
Yep.
yeah. So I think toughness. I think I'm a fast learner with a lot of things, not just wrestling, but a lot of things. I'm a fast learner, and I'm able to pick up on things. I'm athletic. Coming from an athletic background, I played baseball, basketball. Wanted to play football, but my grandma, she was nurturing, so she didn't allow me to get out there. She's like, you have a concussion, you're not gonna be able to do anything.
If she only
So
saw now, right?
nah, oh yeah, yeah.
Well, I love the fact of hearing some of the, some of the strengths. Mine was footwork. And I was a basketball player when I was in high school, so you would think that I would have decent footwork, but it took me, goddamn, probably 2 months before I could really figure out the whole footwork aspect of it. And it's funny that you mentioned bumps too. And I said, and what's funny about it is I haven't taken a bump in over 2 decades. So we had we talked a little bit before we came on the air. We had a live event last weekend, in Orlando, and my main event is working things out. And one of the guys was running the ropes. He stops and he goes back towards the center of the ring. He starts, pushing his foot down. He's like, "Hey man, come check this out." So I get under the ring, and there was a board that was broke, a piece of plywood. So this is 10, 15 minutes for doors open, by the way. So we ripped the ring apart. We replaced the plywood, the building. Thank God, Charlie. Shout out to that guy. He runs the establishment, owns the establishment wrestling in Orlando. Got the repair made, put the ring back together, and he was just kind of walking across it. And I slid in the ring, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I took a flat pack bump, and I went, "Testing the product, guy. I've got 24 guys I got to get in this ring, and I'm not fixing to have anybody get in here that without this being without me bumping on it first. Because if I get up and ain't no problems, then we're all right." But what I didn't realize is it's been 2 decades. And the pain that I was in for a day later, but I'm in my mid fucking 40s. But bumps were always.
But that's testament to your character as well. You didn't have to. You could have told anybody else to get in there and take a bump, but you did it.
Well, I'm a believer that you don't ask people to do stuff that you won't do.
To do something you wouldn't do.
No, that's how I've always been. It's at least for the last 12 years that I've been an adult. I just would rather, with me being in the industry and being in the industry, granted, it was a long time ago. And while a lot has changed, a lot has not. And I've worked for people in the past who didn't put talent first and didn't put the well-being of you guys first, because I'm a firm believer if we don't have you, we don't have shit. And that's real. Like that's just reality. If we don't have the performers to get in the ring and do what they do, then we don't have that form of entertainment. Companies don't have people to put in the ring. Therefore, companies don't fucking exist. So you have to treat my opinion, you have to treat the talent with respect. You have to treat them like they are who they are, because we don't have it without you guys. And that's exactly why I did it. Nobody knew. Everybody was in the locker room at that point. Nobody knew that I jumped in the ring and did that until after the fact, when Charlie had walked up to me and slapped me in the back and was like, "How are you feeling, bud?" Fucking dick.
You're like, "Oh."
But that's what it is. This is how, again, a piece of, I think, as to why we've been as successful as we've been as a platform is stuff like that. Not necessarily that, but just doing stuff like that, putting everyone else first. My guys on my channel will tell you the same thing. The first thing that somebody ever asks me, "How you doing?" my response is, "How can I help?" It's not, what can you do for me? It's how can I help you? How can we utilize what we've been able to build to put a lot of focus on the independent scene? And that's just part of it, man. And in reality, it sucks that the world isn't like that all the time. But we have gone out of our way to find like-minded companies that share the same goal. And Heart and Soul Pro is one of those, and we're going to get there here in just a few minutes. But before we get there, I want to talk to you a little bit about character work, because as you get through training, you got to make your debut. But before you make that debut, brother, you have to have some sort of presentation together. You said that you got your gear before training even started. So that tells me that you already have an inkling of what you want to present and what you want to put out there. What was the process of TJ Black in that original presentation?
So originally I wanted to be more true to who I am. I'm not perfect. I have my good and I have my bad. So I kind of had the yin and the yang logo on my tights. I didn't want to necessarily be overly just a white meat baby face, but I didn't want to be a straight up chicken shit heel either. I kind of wanted to get something that was kind of in between and kind of see if get the people to relate to me more in that aspect of it. And then then the character, the pound for pound king, I kind of came up with that with it was a little bit later. It was like a year or two later. I'm a big boxing and MMA fan. And the number one in the sport is the pound for pound king. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna take that. I'll add that to myself.
Unrelated question to anything wrestling, only because this happened this weekend and I have seen so much about it. Thoughts on the Paul UFC company, VIP, whatever the fuck it is. Thoughts MVP, on the event this weekend. What is your take on a 17-second main event?
I mean, they don't get paid by the hour. They don't get paid by the hour. If you're able to finish them. I mean, but that probably goes to matchup, right? I mean, like, if you could finish somebody in 17 seconds, they probably shouldn't be in the ring with you.
I mean, I feel the same way.
Especially in the main event, right? You want to have two really competitive people in the main event, but you see that in the UFC as well. But it's so hard. John Jones beat Cyril Gahn in what was it, 45 seconds, like a minute or something like that. And he had been out the ring for 2 years.
It's so hard
off the cage.
And maybe it's because it's a Paul that's running it. But it's so hard for me to take that seriously. It's so hard for me too. And I understand, I get it. Like when I talk mixed martial arts and MMA, man, I go back to like UFC 1 through 10. Back when Shamrock and Dan the Beast Severn and Kimbo Slice, and these guys were fucking your world up, and it was more underground than corporate fighting. Is kind of what it's turning into.
Yeah, all the lights now and everything, the promotion, everything's a movie before the fight. And
facts, man, facts. I had to ask just because you mentioned MMA.
No, but I was interested in it because I wanted to watch the Diaz fight. I'm a Diaz fan. Yeah, like Nate. That as well. Like you have to pick your poison when watching the Nate fight because the guy bleeds so much. So it's like,
they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. So listen, let's get back to wrestling because I don't want to get into hot topic territory, if you will. It's over in chat real quick. UK Paul, what's happening, brother? He's giving you a what's up from the United Kingdom, Mr. Black.
Hey, what's up? I'm gonna get out there.
Oh, don't worry, we'll get there. We got plenty of friends out there. Plenty. We'll get there. We're going to the UK in 2027 as a promotion. So there's a lot going on that we're gonna get to, brother. A lot that we're going to. But let me talk a little bit about the debut and kind of what that looked like for you. How were you nervous? What was going on? Who was your opponent? Like what from day one to like kind of like now, like when you look back on it, what resonates with you with your debut?
Well, with my debut, so I debuted. So I started training in July. I debuted in November. And it was still like COVID times. So it was at that time, East Bay, we were doing like internet shows. There was like no fans, no nothing. You can only watch it by paying for like a subscription to something. I can't remember what it is now.
Like a membership on YouTube. Like $2. You can show your country.
You can get it. And then so they were doing that. but then things kind of it was in that time when things kind of started to open, but they didn't allow like full like just like a certain number of people that could be in a venue, and
Yeah.
everybody had to like wear a mask and like everything like that. So that was my debut. We had a student showcase, and then it was me and Fabuloso Fabricio. Yeah, but as nervous as I was also very comfortable because Fab, he's a great vet. He was a cool dude, a great friend, one of the guys that took me in straight away. Yeah, like anything that we had to do in the ring, the vets got to pick who they want to do it with. He chose me a lot of the times. Yeah, so it was great to have that prior experience. But it is your first match. You want to make a good impression. So yeah,
well, it's gotta be tough there too, because I mean that's in pandemic time, so there's not really necessarily a crowd that's there, as you were saying. Like I don't know.
There was a crowd, but just it was
social distanced crowd, in odds and ends. But still, it's not. I mean, it's got to be different. I don't know if I could have done it. To be perfectly fair, like I thrive on people, and I thrive on the reaction. I was always a heel, and I was a hell of a talker, and that's kind of. I have to have that. Like if I don't have that, then it's hard for me to do my job. And for you guys, and I say you guys that went through that variation of professional wrestling, and don't get me wrong, I went through it as a fan, but I didn't necessarily go through it as a talent. Like I just think that it's more props and respects to you guys. And I also think on the backside of this, and this may be a hot take, a lot of people don't like talking about COVID, and I don't either. I don't like the fact that there were a lot of lives lost. I hate it. It chaps my ass, especially when it's something that's very fucking preventable. But at the end of the day, I try to find the silver lining, and what I personally contribute to the boom of professional wrestling, especially on the independent scene amongst the younger generation, and that demographic, we're talking 17 to 26. I think a large part of that happened during COVID because a lot of places weren't open. You didn't have that ability to go and work. So what did you have to do? You had to get workouts in at home. You had to focus on you and getting you right and getting your bodies right and getting your, you can shop character work. You could
everything was at home. Haircuts at home. Everything.
You could do so much stuff.
Messing up your hair.
And it helped prepare you. I think it helped prepare that younger generation that's out there now that I'm so wowed by. That because they had that time and attention to be able to focus on strictly that. Because what the fuck else are you going to do? Especially those who take professional wrestling seriously and want to make this a long-term job, not so much we'll just go out and do it. So I look at that and I just think I tell me I'm wrong is what I tell people all the time. Like show me prior pandemic, while yes, the scene was good. It was you had a lot of really good people out there and you had a lot of good guys working. Post pandemic, not just in the States, all over the world. All over the fuck. Come back out of pandemic, all these guys are coming out of the woodwork, and it's fantastic, and I think that is exactly why we're in such a good time frame right now with professional wrestling, with where it's at. Now, for you, let's talk about a little bit about the growth. You've been doing this now for what, 4 years? 6 years. So over the last 6 years, when you come out of the pandemic era, and while you had people in the crowd, I kind of want to get your take on how did it feel to wrestle in front of a non-pandemic crowd when professional wrestling starts to come back up, and now you've got, instead of maybe having 20 or 30, maybe you've got a couple of hundred who are here now. That energy level changes, the dynamic changes. What was that change like for you when you got that opportunity in front of a hot fucking crowd?
Yeah. It was like the debut all over again, because it was like I have to reintroduce myself, because my first match, it wasn't like an online thing. It wasn't like a show where it's like you can go on YouTube and watch the whole show from start to finish, like how you do with yours or with Heart and Soul. You can go on YouTube, find it watch the whole thing. My debut was not like that. It was just if you were there, you saw it. If you weren't, you
You
missed
didn't.
it. Yeah, yeah. So when it was a full crowd and like where East Bay, they have a lot of loyal fans, so it's a lot of the same people, and then like a couple 30, every show is new or they've never been there before or it's their first time. Um, yeah, so it was pretty much like debuting all over again, you know. And yeah, I was nerve. I was that one. I was nervous for. It's like, man, there's a lot more people out there. It's a full crowd. But again, that match again as well was with Fab. So yeah, it
I
was
love the fact
huge.
that it was with the same person because now you got the full experience. You got
Yeah.
the pandemic experience, and then you get the full experience. And I'll say this about debuts, and I say this all the time because I never know when I'm going to see them live in the building as they're happening because I don't
Yeah.
ever ask until I get to a building. I'm like, all right, anybody debuting? Because to me,
Yeah.
they're so special. They really are.
Mhm.
Like to be present for someone when they debut in that moment. You can see it all day on TV, YouTube, et cetera, wherever you're consuming the product. But to
Yeah.
physically be there, it is you get one, and
Yeah.
I had my last one in San Diego with Anthony
Mhm.
Zalea at Primal
Mhm.
when we were out there for
Yeah.
Chapter 3. And I told him after the fact, I was like, we're bonded, right? And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, buddy, I was one of the 70 or 80 people here live to see you wrestle your first match. And
Mm.
while 76 of them, when they leave here,
Yeah.
won't think about it, outside of your immediate family, I'm the
Yeah.
one guy who will because I'm going to
Mhm.
watch you the rest of your career. You understand that, right? Like what that means. It means that for me to be in the house for someone to debut,
Mm.
it's different. Maybe it's because I've been there. Maybe it's because I was in the industry, but also
Maybe.
too,
Yeah.
like I just consider them to be so. You get one, man. You get one, and
Yeah.
for anybody to
Yeah.
be there present for it, like it is very special to me.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I was big on that. I was big on that for I know we can talk about it later, but I was big on that for Heart and Soul. I was like, this is our first one. We only get one first impression. We have to go all guns blazing here. We have to. We
so
have to.
we're gonna talk about this because I had Phil on, as you know, and I
Mm,
had such a
mhm.
great conversation with him, and
Yeah.
I really love what you guys are doing. I do. I think that we're so in line on several different key factors of why we're doing this. That is just it's too good to pass up. And it
Yeah.
is coming, guys. I promise. I'm not teasing you for too much longer. Just bear with me. I also want to know too in the earlier days, right? Actually, you know what? Not necessarily the earlier days, and I know that Heart and Soul Pro is probably going to come up in this answer, but with you being 6 years deep, and obviously with the wrestling business, it's mild to wild depending on where you're at and what you're doing. But you got to always find a way to make some moments that matter to you. What are some of those over the course of your career so far? That you look back on even now and just be like either that was really cool or the match was fantastic or the crowd was great. What are some of those moments thus far that register with you?
Uh, First one is winning my first championship. I actually did that with Phil.
Oh shit.
He was yeah. We worked a small bit as a tag team. Or yeah, like a little faction or tag team, and
Oh, we got to
yeah,
talk about
I'd
this.
won my first showcase championship. Um, yeah, yeah, that's one. Um, Second one, working in the SAP Center in San Jose. I do it just a battle royal, but just to have that experience, have that notch in my belt. Just a few years, and that was a couple years ago. Having that just like a few years into this business, having my first television match, um, and then yeah, starting Heart and Soul, man, and the Heart and Soul is probably the biggest one because it's it's like a child. It's like having your own baby. Yeah, no, and all the stress and all the like the anxiousness about having your first show and dropping everything and then dropping tickets and seeing how that's going, and then just like I never, that's a side of wrestling that I'd never experienced before. So
Same.
yeah,
Same.
and then to get that first show and to see before the show the turnout, and you can finally breathe, and then I gotta wrestle.
Well, I haven't been able to breathe yet, but with heart and soul.
I just texted Phil yesterday. I was like, bro, I think we could be on show 100. I'm still gonna be worried about everything.
Well, so this is where I guess the difference is in the model, right? And it's depending on what the overall picture. And so how Heart and Soul came across my screen. Just so you're clear, and I think I told Phil this too. I saw that Primal had advertised it, and it was going to be at the compound. And when I saw that, anytime I see somebody that's running at Primal, company wise, so like I know J2, and I know Danny Devine in Los Angeles, and they're just not going to let anybody walk through their doors. So like if they're gonna do business with somebody, like I already know that it's gonna be pretty reputable. So I started following the account then, and I don't even know where the first conversations came in and who it came in with. I don't know who runs your Instagram account. It could be you, it could be Phil. I don't fucking know. But I was talking to the Instagram account, and at the end of the day, like I wanted to get somebody on so that we could talk about it. And talk about the show and talk about what was going on and how it's come together. And for me, when you say like again, stress is there when you're running a live event. That piece is true. For me, it was never about ticket sales. So I blew my guy's mind on chapter 1. Very first thing I said when I met with everybody, and I mean it, and I say it every show. I don't give a fuck how many people walk through the door. Because I'm not here, and you're not here for just them. If we're live streaming it or it's coming out on my platform, there are other people that I am looking to please with this, and that was my main focus and my main goal. So for our first chapter, it was never about how many people watch it, how many people are gonna come through the front door. I know that we're gonna lose a shit ton of money. I know that this is gonna happen. This is what the expectation is on my side. But the product was always about, for me, it was how can I help get you guys booked? And with the eyeballs that we have on our product and what we're doing on the channel, it seemed like a no-brainer. It was like, So I put the show together. And we did the live event, and when it was done and I edited it, and it was terrible. The edit was awful. I'm not a video editor, guys. I do the best I can. But I sent it out to like affiliates, and I was like, tell me what you like and what you don't like, what can be done better, who stands out to you, who doesn't stand out to you. I sent it out to 10 of the 70 that were attached to, and I was like, just let me know. I got the feedback off of it and incorporated it for chapter 2. Chapter 2 was fantastic. It was a way better show. It was way better put together. It was way more polished. And by chapter 4, we got 6 guys on with other companies. So I was like, that's it. That now I can see that we're doing it, and it's what my goal is starting to work. These guys are going to different states. They're going to be working with different companies and doing different things, and to level the playing field. And where I say we come together and we align with like the overall vision is, I feel like Heart and Soul Pro, that's a big piece of that too, because there is a lot of untapped talent in California, a lot. And there were a lot of heavy hitters on this show. Just about anybody with California recognition was there. Jordan Cruz and CJ Tino. CJ Tino is I love that guy. I think he's fantastic. I've talked to him and had him on shows and had him on live events. Like, he's a blast. You had like, I don't know, there's like 40 people on the show.
Yeah.
And everybody had their moment, and everybody had the opportunity to shine if you will. So we're going to dive deeper into putting this together on you guys'
Yeah.
side of the equation. Actually, hold on. Before we go there, what made you decide to jump on this and jump in and go 100% with this? I got Phil's answer. I want to get yours. What made you want to invest in doing Heart and Soul?
Yeah, for me, it was, just that, like, getting all the people who have, they're notable, and giving them a platform to, showcase what they can do, as well as people who we feel are not getting the recognition that they should probably be getting, and giving them a platform to do that as well.
You had
Yeah.
a really big match. And I'm talking to Phil, again, I had a chance to speak with him probably 2 weeks before the show. And for him, like, I could tell that he meant what he said when he was talking about you and talking about how this is a big opportunity for you, a big match. It was a big deal. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how it got put together. What did it mean to you, and to get out there and perform on the show, and deliver the match that you were able to deliver?
So the original match was supposed to be me versus Shane Haste.
I know.
Yeah. That was I was preparing myself for that, mentally, physically. I had I had finished a cut, and I was trying to bulk up to around like 215 to 210, 215. But I was doing it cleanly. I was eating clean food, and then when we finally got the date for the show, it was March 7th, and then so it was like December, and I was like, I think I was at like 190, and then I was like, okay, all right, I'm giving myself to January 1st to try and get, as big as possible, so I can cut down, so that by March 7th I could be really cut.
Yeah.
So I went on a seafood diet. I ate anything I saw. I ate it, and then and then losing. But the bad thing was losing that weight and trying to lose it in that time frame. It was very difficult because my body had gotten used to eating that food and started to hold on to it a lot. So I was doing a lot of like strength training, and then when I switched over to endurance based training to try and cut the weight, it was just it was a more difficult process. And Phil knows. I talked to him about it. It made me mad. It pissed me off. It pissed me off because I really was trying to, by March 7th, be insane. But Shane Hayes was the first match. I was watching a bunch of Shane Hayes highlights, seeing what he does now, what he used to be able to do back when he was in NXT. And I built myself up for it, and then I think it was like 2 weeks before, I got cut. Phil came to me, he told me, and then I was, I built it up. I was ready, and then then I got Choopy, and then once he told me I had Choopy, I was like, oh thank God! Like, still a great wrestler, big name. It still had everything. So it was a perfect fit. And he came right in, and he taught me a lot. He brought a lot to me in that match, and I'm forever grateful for that.
I almost knocked over something. my whole little pedestal almost fell right there. I elbowed it. I'm sorry about that.
What you did?
It's just the belt.
I want it.
I
want it.
Oh yeah, man.
It looks nice.
It was expensive. It was too much money. At the end of the day, if this doesn't work out, brother, I've got a great expensive paperweight. Fantastic paperweight. I loved your match. And I did because, I didn't know you at the time, and I don't even know if we had even shared DMs at that point. But, Phil, when he had told me about how important it was, and at least in his eyes for you, And then you did get out there and you got to deliver, and you delivered a solid match. And outside of your match, you talked about going big or going home on this first show, like
Mhm.
putting everything together. And I can only imagine the levels of stress that you were dealing with at that point, because I know what I deal with on my events, but it can only pale in comparison to what you guys feel. But what's so crazy about that is I didn't have that feeling when I was in SoCal, because
Yeah.
I had to just about everybody from Primal and Millennium. I was like, oh, you guys know what the fuck you're doing. I'm just gonna
All good. Yeah.
you win, and then we go. I'll go have fun. But
Yeah.
what were some of the trials and tribulations? And on the backside of this question, what I've taken into practice is, if you made mistakes, learning from them. So with the trials and tribulations that came along with this, what have you learned out of just the first event, and what are you going to carry into the second?
Yeah. So, as being co-owner, part of it was, I mean, with any wrestling company, any promotions, cards are subject to change. We had two people pull out. Um, I think next time, having, just so it's not so stressful, having, a couple, you know, a list of backup names,
Sure.
uh, to have, ready and loaded for, if the time comes, it's not like a, even if it is last minute, some reliable people that we know we can trust and we can count on to come in, to be able to be there, but not only just be there, to be able to put on a great match as well.
Funny you say that. I learned that lesson at show 1 too. And
Yeah.
ever since then, I've got, 5 or 6 guys. I say come in and help,
Yeah.
but there's nothing for them to help with, right? Because the way I do things is I go out of a facility that already has a ring and everything's already set.
Mhm.
So at most, we just have to put out chairs. That's it.
Mhm.
So like, but even though there's nothing for them to do, I still want somebody else there, because we have, the cancellation game is a thing.
Yeah.
And some reasons are very logical and very understandable. And like I told you before we come on the air, maybe I said it when we were on the air, with our live events, I tell our guys, especially if it's people who are traveling, because they're
Mhm.
the guys that are traveling to us,
Mhm.
they have a lot going on. Like, there's a lot of things that are going on with the people that we have made some really good connections with. So getting a booking at a major independent is not out of the question, and happens.
Right.
So like I always tell them,
Yeah.
if you don't take bigger opportunities, I'll get mad at you, right? But
Yeah.
in that situation, that's something that we learned, and as far as making sure that we had a roster that, hey, you got your gear, fantastic. Guess what, buddy, you're in. Here's who you're working
Yeah.
with,
Yeah.
and here's what we need, and here's what we're looking for. But that is a big one too, man. Like, that's not something I even thought about before show 1. And my experience was, I mean, we're about midway through the show, and I had a match that was booked, and somebody was double shotting, and it was a tag
Mm.
team match. And they had told me that
Mm.
they were going on first in one city that was about 40 minutes away from where we were running. Well, that was not the case. They didn't go on until 8 o'clock, and they were going on with me at 8:30. And I was like,
Yeah.
nope. To the back,
Yeah.
told the 2 guys that we were going to work against, you guys are working opposite each other now. So you got 10 minutes to put together a 10-minute match. Inside
Yeah.
cradles your finish. Have fun with it. What was some surprising stuff that came out of it for you? Like, obviously, there's always stuff to talk about, like, what did you learn? And
Mhm.
running live events in its own right is a learning experience. But what were some of
Mhm.
the big positives that came out?
Um, Big positives was, the turnout. I mean, I know you talked about, it's, you know me and Phil talked. We both talked. We were both like, bro, if one person shows up to this show, I was like, bro, like we put so much, into it, and yeah, like,
I know how
so
much money one person costs to get there. I
yeah,
know,
yeah,
because I've had those
yeah,
conversations. I know how
yeah,
much it
yeah,
costs to run the building. I know.
yeah,
I've had those
yeah,
conversations. So I
yes,
know where
yes,
we're at with one person and the building. And like, Yeah, you guys are putting a lot into
A
this.
lot.
So well, again, I didn't mean to step on you, but what
Yeah.
was the positive? Was the
Oh no.
attendance?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah. Attendance, the reaction to the show, because man, like I've been at a lot of wrestling shows. Been at wrestling. Um, I've seen a lot of like ones that are good, ones that are bad. But I think and it's not to toot our own horn, and it's not because it's just us. I feel like we put on a great show, and I feel like the effect of that show is still being felt even now. People are still talking about it. People still like some like all the appreciation that we got after
sure.
everything that we had to put into this. It felt so good. It felt so good to get that.
I am happy, and I'm excited for you guys, and I'm really excited for what the future looks like too. To be fair, I mean, I've had some conversations with Phil. I'm gonna assume it's Phil that runs Heart and Soul Pro over on Instagram. You guys should probably go follow that. But see that shameless plug, how I work that in? Easy. So like I've had conversations. Like I want you guys to come out to Florida. I want us to collab on a show out here. I want our championship to come out there.
In Miami.
I mean, my building's in Orlando.
I was telling it all there, bro. I was like, go to Miami.
Miami is just a couple hours away, but the building is definitely in Orlando. But I want our championship to get out there. I want us to be able if a Heart and Soul Pro champion is ever crowned, I want them to be able to come out to our events. I want to be able to build something that has value and has some meaning to it, because my game is to put you in front of people that can help you. They ain't here to hurt you.
And I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like, this relationship and this, if we can marriage something, I feel like it can be really, really special. And I've been talking to Phil about it as well, with everything in CCP, and I feel like with all the good ideas that we have, all the good ideas that you have coming together, I feel like we can.
I'm telling you,
there's a lot that we can do.
I ain't gonna lie, man. Like I know that my talents in the real world are being wasted. My passion is this. My passion is what I do. My passion is helping people. My passion is trying to find positive in a space that can be very negative, and you don't always find that. You just don't. What I have come across is I listen to my gut. My gut will never tell me and never steer me wrong. So if I get a bad vibe or I get a bad feeling about something, I usually just walk away from it. In my life, I am very lucky to be sitting here. So I take everything that we do at this channel, I take it seriously, because at the end of the day, we all know that just one bad show kills everything. One bad, I mean, just it's unfortunate, but it can. So like every step we make and every move we make, it's very calculated. Like I have this vision that if enough like-minded companies can come together, and if I can be a bridge for that, I know I'm here for it. And if we can build something collectively, and that's what my live events are doing. I am literally losing money hand over fist, and I'm okay with that, because the bigger goal is not me. The bigger goal is not CCP podcasting. It is independent wrestling. And there's so much good stuff out there. It's a matter of time before I'm on somebody's fucking payroll. Mark my words. There's going to be somebody that's going to be like, bro, you need to come over here and you need to work with us. But that's what we're building. That's why we're doing international in 2027. That's why we're, it's really just to show people that we can do it. And we're not afraid to do it. Like, is it costly? Absolutely. But, Rome wasn't built in a fucking day. And if we're going to really elicit some change and really elicit a more level playing field, it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of energy. Well, I'm not tooting my own horn by any means. In the real world, I would work 50 hours a week, and then I would come and stream for 30 hours a week. And that's not counting editing. That's not counting everything else that goes on behind the scenes. But you
Yeah.
do that because you genuinely love it. And when I saw that it's making a difference positively, not for me, but for
Yeah.
people who come in and sit in your chair and have these
Yeah.
conversations, and the right clip goes out and the right person sees it, it's surreal. But that's wrestling.
100%. Yeah.
And there is room for a lot of people to sit at some tables. I'm I'm going on a tour at the end of the month. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia on the 31st. Sorry, I'm looking at my calendar. If you see my head over here, I'm in Atlanta on the 31st. I'm in Minnesota on the 30th of June. Excuse me. I am in Pennsylvania on the 16th of June. I am in Chicago, July the 9th, it looks like. And I'm back in San Antonio in the end of July. These are all places that want us to come and defend our championship. We don't have to carry a whole show. We don't have to go out there and do that. We can carry our champion. We can also open those doors. Hey, we're going out to Los Angeles. Who do you want to take out there? Hey, hey, TJ, I see Heart and Soul 2's coming up. Is there anybody that I can put you in touch with that you guys may be interested in? I don't have to fucking be there to put you in contact with people. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how we can help each other. And in the same context with the affiliates that we built, Heart and Soul Pro, I'm proud to be an affiliate of. I'm very proud of it because at the end of the day, as you guys grow and you get bigger and you get more momentum behind you, my live events, I will start reaching out to affiliates and saying, hey, I got 14 spots on this show. Do you have somebody that you want to send out to represent Heart and Soul Pro? Hey, Caius in Texas, wrestling community. Do you have somebody you want to send out? Hey, Deep South, Atlanta. Do you have anybody you want to send? So I'll have local guys and I'll also have 4 or 5 affiliate guys. That way I can sell you on our fucking TV. Hey, TJ Black, you can catch him at Heart and Soul Pro. You can catch him running. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can do this shit. It is possible. I'm sorry. I get one rant. I just used it.
That's good, though. It's good. It's good because it's true. It's true. And that's how it, like you said, it helps everyone. It helps everybody. And it accomplishes our one goal is to get people out there, to get exposure, and like you said, to get bigger opportunities.
Facts, 1,000%. With Heart and Soul 2 hasn't been announced yet. We just know that there's an event coming. What can you tell us, or what can you tell the audience about Heart and Soul 2 without giving too much away and without making people mad?
Heart and Soul 2. There's only one person I can make mad if I say anything. Heart and Soul 2, I could say it's a NorCal event. This one. And that one is going to be. It should be coming around the end of the summer. What is it?
I saw the look and I was about to pivot out. I was about to say, "Yeah, we ain't gonna go there." I'm excited. I'm excited to see what comes next. I love the fact that you guys are trying.
It's gonna be our big summer event.
There you go, big summer event for those out in North Carolina. I almost said North Carolina, North California. Carolinas are on the list too. So there's
I have a lot of family over there.
Yeah, we have some good friends in North Carolina that'll be making some live event debuts with us that I'm hoping opens up the doors to do some things. And that too is a piece of it. Like when I'm bringing some of these guys in, JDX, I've been watching this guy for well over a year, and I didn't expect him to say yes to come out and work our show in fucking Florida, but he did. So it was spending time with him and letting him know like what we're really about. And he's opened up doors in Minnesota. Jay Haru has opened up doors in Pennsylvania. You bring these guys down, they have a good time, and they go back and spread the word. Devious Cass, another cat, fucking finally turned 19. But he's He's great. He came out. He went back and spread the word. And when you do stuff like this, and that's where the word of mouth still comes in play, right? Like I hate modern era. I'm not an internet guy. I've always been a word of mouth guy. So when that stuff travels, that's how I know we're doing something right. And I know that you guys are onto something right too, because if you wasn't, the chatter still wouldn't be there. And the first event on a brand new YouTube platform has well over 2,000 views. That's not a bad way to start things out at all on a platform that didn't have any subscribers on it either, mind you. So it's you guys are doing some good stuff, and it's only going to get better, and it's only going to get bigger as it goes. So,
Yes.
on the same token, now let me get to some business, because while I love sitting here and just learning and chatting,
I'm
I
a
also
businessman.
I also have to get to business, because for me, our platform we're seeing everywhere, all over the world. It's our belt. It's a 5-plated belt. I'm not going to take it apart, but every flag that's on this belt
Yes.
represents a continent or a country that we have a really good relationship with in some form or fashion.
Right, man.
There's a lot of flags on that belt. So that's
Yeah,
why I
it looks
say
like I see it just
there's
dancing over there. All I fair. It's
there's a
like kind of nice.
lot,
I'm
and
like,
I say that to preface this. Take as much time as you need. There's going to be several questions that are coming at you. The first question, wrestling is on fire everywhere, on every continent. We watch it every week. We put it in front of people every week. And I understand that a lot of the goals and aspirations are obviously WWE, AEW, TV deals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But along the way to those deals that will come, where are some companies out there that you are looking at if you had opportunity on the indie scene? It could be in the States, it could be internationally. But where are some places that you've checked out that are just kind of on your list of I'd really like to work there?
yeah. Um, GCW is one. Uh, House of Glory is another one.
Yeah.
Those are two like independent ones that I've watched like before I started wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of looking at the independents and looking at things, and yeah, those two are big ones. I want to wrestle in Mexico. I want to wrestle in the UK. I want to wrestle um yeah, Puerto Rico. Uh yeah, I want to go like international. Yeah, in any promotion. I'm gonna wrestle everywhere, man. I love to wrestle any place that has some value to it, and I can kind of fit myself into it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm all game for it, all day, every day.
Well, we have a lot of friends all over the place. That's why I asked that. So yeah,
Yeah,
GCW. I know a couple people that work there. They're not. See, I know them, but I haven't like physically met them. Like they follow our platform and have sent us positive messages and shit like that. So
yeah,
like I say, I know them. Like shouldn't say that because I don't physically know them. But HOG though. Um, I know several people who've come out of that training facility that do a
mm,
lot of work there. So I'm gonna hit them up and see what that looks like, what that process looks like.
mm,
Where are some people? Some
yeah.
people out there that you want to work with? Who are some guys you think you can have a good match with?
Some guys I could have a good match with. I think. I mean, I definitely want to run in with Shane Haste. I mean, that was a big part of my beginning of 2026. That was, chasing that. You know, I want to get him. Phil knows my list too. I
Mm-hmm.
got like Joey Janela. I want to get him in the ring. I want to get Desmond Xavier. I want to get him. Trey Miguel. I want to get him. Um, a lot of guys that I trained around that I never got to get in the ring with in front of a live crowd, but I've had practice matches and I've watched them wrestle. Sarza is another one.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get him. We've had some banger matches, but just in front of nobody. And
They need to
man,
be
like
seen.
once it gets seen, it's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. You know,
Well,
and yeah, just like I mean, bro, anybody, bro, like Troopy. I love. he marked me. I'd love to get him back in the ring again. He says I'm marked. He's coming for me. So I ain't running. I ain't going nowhere. He knows where to find me.
Yeah, let me make sure. That's the guy that raised his leg up, right? That's the guy that raised the leg up. Yeah, that's him. I couldn't remember his name off the top of my head. That was wild.
Yeah.
That was interesting. I'll say that. Let me ask my last question before we start tying a bow on things, and this is really platform related because we've always been about finding hidden gems and stumbling across people that we should be watching. According to you, who are some people out there that we should be watching?
I think Aaliyah Mia Sweets. She's a wrestler she's a female wrestler. She's very underrated. Doesn't get the credit that I feel that she deserves, and a lot more. Another wrestler, Andrew Cass. He's a young kid. He's been wrestling for a couple of years. He's a high flyer. Very electric. OC Hayes is another one. I've seen him come up and grow as a wrestler, from not being able to do much to being one of the bigger names in NorCal. Who else? Jordan Blue. She's a good wrestler. She has a good following. Brings a lot of attention, a lot of crowd with her. DLA, someone I came up with kind of around the same time. We're same level. Lighter J, he's a deathmatch crazy wacky dude who will do anything in the ring or out of the ring for your show as well. Good dude. Yeah, those are some of the people that first come to my mind.
Are you saying you want to do a death match?
Me?
Yeah.
Nah, not me. Not me. I got too much to live for to have a death match.
Yeah, no, that's not my taste either. But I damn sure don't want to get in there with somebody who does death matches because now they're going to kick the shit out of me. That's how that works, man.
Yeah, no, he's a good worker. He has a wide range as well. It's not just death. He's not just a death match guy. He can wrestle. He could put on great matches. But if you do have a death match, he is one of the top people that can do it.
He's like, you give him a call. So,
yeah.
Well, listen, TJ, for me, man, these first conversations, they're just surface scratchers. They're really just introducing you to the audience because I don't do anything short term. I'm a long term guy. Short term gains do nothing for us on the platform. We're always about building the relationships and maintaining them moving forward. So, obviously the door's open and we'll be definitely getting you back on as well as Phil. That's why when Heart and Soul 2 gets ready to roll around, I want to get with you guys to help promote that and see what we can do to help the process a little bit. Obviously, we did a watch party with Phil for the Heart and Soul 1. I'd love to get you back for Heart and Soul 2 if you want to come and watch it back with us and just chat while we're doing it. It'd be great and just fun the whole way around. Before we get ready to go, man, I always like to turn the floor over to my guest. Is there anything that you want to plug? Is there anything you want to talk about that we didn't get a chance to talk about? Anything whatsoever. The floor is absolutely yours.
Yeah, I think first, one of the things I noticed about you said you like to give, and I feel I relate to you on that, and I feel like I wanted to mention that so that we could share that with people, and they can take that out into the world. That doesn't have to sit right here in this conversation. I want people to take that and apply that out into the world, because for me, I've lost so much in my life, and it got to the point where it's like, man, why, like, you see, like, one example, my mother passed away. It's like you see people with their mom, and it's like, why don't I get that? And so it kind of got to the point where it's like I lost so much to where it's like I was asking, like, why? And then I started to think, and it's like, maybe because I'm not supposed to be the one receiving, I'm supposed to be the one giving. And yeah, so when you said that, I related to you so much on that.
Well, that's just the way it is, like, here's the thing, for those out there, if you ever think life is fair, it's not. You have two options. Take it from a guy who should have died 3 times. I shouldn't be sitting here. One was an overdose, one was hit by an 18-wheeler, and the other one was the reason why I don't drink. I put my fist through a piece of glass and I cut my artery, nerves, tendons, ligaments. I shouldn't have a hand. I shouldn't be sitting here. Guys, you if I can pick myself up out of situations like that, I'm a firm believer that we're not put in situations that we cannot control and we cannot deal with in some form or fashion. It's always about the right way and the right outlet to get whatever is going on out there. I'm a guy that my door's open. I answer every DM I get. If anyone's going through any kind of hardship or any kind of situation that you need help, don't be afraid. It's those who do not speak up that we end up losing too soon. So I say that because it's true. And I say that because I shouldn't be here, but I am. So there's a reason for it. And when you find that reason and you find out what that purpose is, it makes things so much easier to deal with. And for me, while this sounds crazy and it sounds stupid to some people, the platform is why I'm here. It took me 20 years to figure it out after my last near-death experience. And I didn't figure it out until a year ago. But once I figured it out and I see the difference and I see the positive difference of what we do here, there is no other feeling. There is no other sense of gratification that can come from it because we're changing lives every day in some fashion. And in a world today that can be hostile and negative, if everybody just does one kind thing a day, will make everything a better place. You can't give up. It's easy. It's easier to give up than it is to keep going. It's easier to throw in the towel.
It's easier to isolate as well. And that's what makes a lot of things worse because you're in your head and you know how your head can
we're all our own worst enemy. That's a fact. We are all our own, and nothing is going to be easy. You know, my life every day is filled with challenges. Every day. You know, I don't always make the right decisions. Sometimes I make the wrong ones. I'm human. It happens, you know, and I don't condemn anybody for making a mistake either. If we do that, then I think everybody should be judged by their worst mistake and their worst action. Everybody, not just one person, everybody. And if that's the case, probably don't need to be sitting here because I've made some fucking mistakes in my life. Yeah, but I've also overcome them, and I've also turned things around to where the purpose is here. And conversations like this, you know, it just allows me to get to know more about you. It allows me to get to know more about resonating and connecting on different levels outside of professional wrestling. That's why I love these conversations. I can't tell you how many people have sat in that chair, in the chair opposite me, the camera, your screen, and we connect on other levels that are deeper than professional wrestling because we've all been there. We've all had to overcome something, some more severe than others, but at the end of the day, we've all been there, and we all can help each other get out of it too. Yeah. So that's my soapbox.
Yeah. So I just didn't want that to let that just sit or get lost. I wanted to grab it before it got away and just let people know, not to people watching this, and us as well, not to let this just sit here in this interview and once we turn off the camera, kind of just goes away. I want people to be able to take that out into the world. And a
little positivity goes a long way, guys. Just a little bit goes a long way. This has been a great first conversation, and I say first because there'll be many to come after this, I would imagine. But the easiest way, guys, that you can show your support is by sharing, and subscribing. In TJ's case, it's been on the screen the entire show, TJ_Black_. Go over to Instagram, smash the follow button, check out what he's got going on. And what we've learned is that you don't know who's watching, when they're watching, or how they're watching. A simple share goes a long way, and it will put his product in front of new eyeballs, then you don't know what happens from there. There's a snowball effect. Somebody else will see it and share it. Somebody else will see it and share it. You see how this works, guys? It's very simple. Go out and follow. Do your part. TJ, it's been my honor and privilege, sir. I can't wait to get you back on the show as we head into Heart and Soul 2. Coming up summer, guys. Keep your eyes and ears peeled at Heart and Soul Pro over on Instagram as well. You might want to go over to their YouTube platform, smash the subscribe button, and check out their first event. It was an awesome show. For my guest today, Mr. TJ Black, I am Chris Page. We will see you next time.